Welcome to the Effortlessly Abundant Life podcast, where we will dive into the mindset, spirituality, and practical tools to have more of what you want with less effort. I'm your host, Natalia, a mindset shifter, certified life and success coach, and hypnotherapist who is obsessed with making your life feel good from the inside out. So let's dive in today's episode in 3, 2, 1. So welcome guys for another episode of Effortlessly Abundant Life. I have a very special guest for you guys. You don't even understand. We're going to talk about sound, the power of sound, the power of our own truth and authenticity, and so much more. So without further ado, I want to welcome you to Stephanie. Hi, my love.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. Can we just
Oh.
take a second to talk about the title of your podcast and how much I love that?
Oh, thank you. It's a mouthful, but it's truly represent everything that this whole, I don't know, I don't even know what to call it, but method is all about. So thank you.
You're welcome. I am 100% here for it.
I love it. So for those who don't know you, because everybody should know you, honestly, I don't know how, but they should. And you tell us a little bit of yourself, about what do you do, kind of like a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So my name is Stephanie Ann Ball. That's the full fancy name. And I'm a professional classical singer and a sound meditation facilitator. So I have these kind of two amazing things that I do that are a little bit different, but also really, really similar and very closely related. So when I'm not, performing with orchestras or in operas or giving recitals for soprano and piano or whatever, I'm using sound in a really beautiful way to help people manage their stress levels and reduce the amount of stress that they're experiencing in their lives, so they can then increase their capacity to be of service and just do whatever they do to the best of their ability.
I love it. So how did you found first the power of sound?
You
How did you
know,
understand, like, okay, there's more to it than just pretty voice and perfect notes and harmony?
hmm it's so funny because I have been using sound and sound vibrations my entire life as a musician. Like, I was that kid in the musical family who was in the school orchestra and the church choir and I did all of that, right?
Right.
But and I would always have this experience when I would sing in a performance where people would seem to react a little bit differently to my voice than they would to my colleagues. And I was constantly getting comments more along the lines of, "Oh my gosh, that was such a beautiful healing program, and my soul feels at peace after listening to you." And then they would go to the next person and be like, "Oh my gosh, your acting is so thrilling." Like, that's never how people talk to me.
I love it.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
And it really wasn't until honestly the pandemic that I started to put together, like, oh, well, I love music and I feel a certain way when I listen to music. Like, I always knew that it was something that was very healing for me. And I think, most people can relate to being in a mood that's maybe a little bit low, or you're just not feeling so great, or you're a little bit cranky. And then your favorite song comes on and you knock it out singing to the top of your, singing at the top of your lungs in the car or whatever. And then suddenly you feel a million times better. So I didn't really even reconcile the fact that, oh my gosh, I see how I'm using sound. I see how I receive sound. I think that this is something that I can also incorporate into the work that I'm doing, and using sound in a really intentional way to help support people with wellness.
I love this. And did you ever experience a sound bath for yourself before you
Yep.
made that decision, or it just kind of like came to you?
So that is honestly a big part of why I'm here, and how I started bringing this into the rest of my work. Is I started listening to sound baths during the pandemic. Like, I'm trapped in the house. I was as stressed as everybody else. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have any performances. And then also managing a lot of heavy things going on in my personal life, where my dad was sick, and just like,
Mm.
I needed a way to manage my own stress and figure out how to feel a little bit better. So I was listening to sound baths that I found recordings of, and I boosted my meditation practice. And then at some point I went, oh, I think that
Mhm.
I'm also supposed to be doing this.
Nice. I love this. And I have to tell you and share a story. So
Mm.
when I was teaching one of my students as a vocal coach,
Mhm.
and one of the things that she never came from the singing world, and she just kind of like, because her kids took lessons with me, she kind of decided to try it for herself.
Mhm.
But something very interesting happened 6 months in. She started to understand that there's more to her voice than just singing pretty, and she started to release her music and her, original songs. And slowly but surely, she started doing sound meditations.
Mhm.
And she was a little bit trying to kind of like insert her voice there and do some of it,
Mhm.
but mostly was instrumental.
Yeah.
And I remember she invited me to one of those sound baths. And I remember telling her, and I truly felt that her voice was truly the best thing and my favorite part from this whole bath meditation.
Mhm.
I truly believe that our human voice is such a strong, powerful channel to heal people in a way that I can't even explain to people. And
Yes.
if
Yes.
yes, right? And I think I obviously there's respect for any, gong or sound bowl or what that, but there's no replacement to your
Mhm.
specific your voice, Stephanie,
Mhm.
and anyone's voice. And I think if we truly kind of allow ourselves to express that and also receive that and really try to kind of explore that even more. I think there's so much magic there that we're really not tapping. And it's so interesting because voice is like the most ancient instrument in human history, right?
Mhm.
But still, we still don't even tap I believe, the 2% of its potential and
Yes.
capacity.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts about that?
Oh my gosh, I could not agree with that anymore. Like, I just am so in alignment with that as well. And it's almost like we forget because, like, we come out as babies, right? And babies know exactly what to do. They know how to
Oh,
breathe
yeah.
and they know how to cry for hours. I know you know about this.
I was like, oh, and he didn't take a lesson and you're just hitting the high C. Oh, Craig, great.
Yes, exactly. Like, babies know how to use their voices in a way that helps get all of their needs met, right? And to
Hmm.
communicate with people. And it has nothing to do with singing. It is as simple as being able to just open up your throat and open up your body to create this vessel for the sound to come through in a way that is supported by breath, right?
I love it.
And it's like we get older and, we become teenagers and preteens, and then we go, oh my gosh, people are judging me for the way I sound. And maybe I shouldn't speak up and maybe I shouldn't say this. And we create all of this extra resistance around our voices and stop using them as effectively. And gosh, if everybody could just unlearn that, it would be such a different world. And again, people think that, oh, well, if I want to do this, I have to be a good singer. It has nothing to do with sounding pretty, right? And I think
Oh my God, yes.
it's like, when somebody that you really care about comes up to you and just says, I love you, or I miss you, or the one that really got me was when a voice teacher, she leaned in and she whispered in my ear, you're worth it. That was what completely undid me.
Wow. Could be
Yeah.
maybe even a silence could be as
Yes.
powerful as the voice too, right?
Yes,
It's the
exactly.
intention. It's the
Yes,
intention.
the intention and the energy that
Mm.
comes through using your voice can be so incredibly healing for so many people. And then you also get the benefits, right? Because it's your own vibrations and your own breath moving through your body that can just open up a ton of stuff. It's an incredibly healing tool.
It's so true. And I have to tell you something very interesting. As a human design reader, so
Mm.
one of the very interesting things that happen, right? Because in human design, we have our energy centers,
Hmm.
but everything is actually moving towards the mouth and actually being expressed through the mouth.
Mm.
And very interestingly enough, when I worked with singers, it was very evident to me through the voice. I can tell right away there is some kind of block, right? You
Mm.
can really,
Hmm.
really sense it. And I think people don't understand how powerful it is to authentically connect to your authentic yourself, right? And
Hmm.
just own how you feel, how you think, who you are and
Yeah.
express it. And once you do, you're actually in your alignment, you're actually in your purpose, and you're actually in your true human design. And that's what we're here for. And when we're
Mhm.
not, that's where the blocks coming. That's why things are not happening for you as you much as you want to. And you feel that suppression, and you feel like things are not happening for you. So
Right.
what would you be like a good tip for you to if somebody's listening right now, could be an artist, singer, or even not, somebody that could be like a CEO or an entrepreneur that uses their voice, because we all use our voices.
Hmm.
How would you help them to really authentically connect to themselves?
Okay, so a couple of things. So the first thing I would do is think about the intention that you want to create by expressing yourself. Like, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel more at peace? Do you want to feel more empowered? Do you want to feel more confident? Like, what is that? What is the energy and the motion in the emotion that you want to create? And start by getting into the receptive mode. And an easy way to do that is,
Abraham Hicks, my
okay.
favorite. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, because I think when you're just starting out, it can feel a little bit scary almost to
Mm,
just go dive right into, oh my gosh, I have to use my voice. Oh no. So start by
mm,
listening. Like find a song that makes you feel empowered or peaceful or whatever emotion it is, right? And just listen to it and feel the fullness of those emotions just
mm,
resonating throughout your body. And then from that place, just start to make some noise, right? Like it doesn't have to be singing, it doesn't even have to be talking. Just get to know what it feels like to make some sound and to create your own vibrations. And so I recommend that when you get into the sound piece of it, easiest place, just start by humming a little. It's just, close your lips, release the back of your jaw. This is the technical part, right? Release the back of your jaw so you have space between your molars. Inhale all the way down to your pelvic floor, feeling your abdominals expand, and just hum. And just feel how good it feels to hum from that like deeply rooted, deeply connected place that is your body instead of trying to hum and like push out sound from your throat. Do it with your whole self to get that deeply connected, embodied feeling of creating your own sound and just enjoy it. Feel how good it feels to create sound just for yourself.
mm.
That's the first step.
Oh, I love this so much. And if I can add to that,
Yeah.
one thing to also put your hands and feel the
Yes.
vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I remember as a music teacher, when I was actually I was music teaching in one of like just a kindergarten where you know, there was a deaf children that couldn't hear anything. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I had to do is teach them a song and how you
Mm.
do it without even be able to listen. So one
Mm.
of the things I did, I took their hand and I put it right in my throat,
Mm-hmm.
and I showed them with my hand up and down, and I was teaching
Mm.
them how to really kind of match the sound, and they would do it with the vibration only without even
Yes.
hearing. So I'm connecting to that vibration. And a lot of time when singers would tell me, oh, I'm tone deaf. Oh, I can't match a sound or this and that, is like, you know why? Because you're not connecting to the vibration.
Mm.
You're only hearing the sound. You almost disconnected from the sound, and
Mm-hmm.
you're now letting the vibration of it to really vibrate through you. You're almost not, it's impossible not to match a sound.
Yeah.
It's only you detaching from it and not allow it to move through you to really allow it to be vibrated through you. So this is one of the things that really helps is just really put your hands on your throat, feel it, connect to it, breathe to it, and really see where you can also for women. And I'm telling for women especially, because it's generations upon generations where we're being shut down and we're not being able to really speak our truth.
Mm-hmm.
But for women especially, if you look into the vocal cords and you look
Mm-hmm.
into our vagina,
Yep.
it's exactly the
They
same
look the
almost look.
same.
And as far as I know, God doesn't make mistakes. And I
Okay.
think that there is a really interesting connection here between open up our, as you say, open up the pelvic floor, open up
Yep.
you're all that area for yourself. Open up,
Hmm.
be vulnerable, and open your throat as when you breathe in, open both of your throat and your vagina. It sounds
Yes.
crazy, but we're going there. Okay, we're going there.
I knew I was
And
going to love this
truly,
interview today.
I'm sorry, guys. If you're listening, man, I'm sure you guys are enjoying this, but I promise you, this is one thing that really, really, and I really understood that there's a lot of trauma that I was unpacking, and my voice was just not connecting to my whole self,
Hmm.
and that's something that really helped me. And feel free to add your thoughts.
Oh my gosh. I love this. That's such an important point. And because women, we do, I mean, if you think about it, the way we walk even and like holding in our abdominals to try to look slimmer, if you just take a second and tune in and say, am I holding any tension in my body? So many women, myself included, I have to be so cognizant of that. Like, oh my gosh, I am literally like tensing up my pelvic floor right now. Like, I don't need to be in a kegel all the time. I'm
Mhm.
literally tensing up my abs. And if you just take a second, open up your throat, breathe in a shape that feels round and wide and delicious. And then as you inhale, just let that tension in your pelvic floor melt away. Like feel it expanding and opening and creating that space. You get the effect that exactly what you're talking about, just like opening and releasing from both places is so healing for women and also like deeply challenging just because of all the extra trauma that we carry around. I know for me and my family, most of the women, we struggle with hip pain, and it's something that has to be like very diligently managed all the time because of all the extra stuff that we're like walking around that's hitting our hips. And so, cultivating practices where you can be really mindful about how to connect to your place and body in those different places can be so healing. And of course, if you do have experiences of bigger trauma, like get some support. There are some incredible healers and women centered doctors and therapists that can be so supportive in helping you work through a lot of those places in a way that's really, really beneficial. So,
Do you think you can heal trauma through your voice?
yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. I think that healing trauma is very complex, and I think that there's a lot of layers and a lot of important pieces to that process. So it's important to make sure that you do have the right support team around you.
Exactly. It's a
But
team. It definitely
it's a
takes a
team.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, but one of the cool things about the voice is how connected it is to the nervous system, right?
Yes.
Because if you look at a little diagram, your larynx is connected to the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve is a huge part of the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of us that pulls us out of a fight or flight response, right? It helps regulate that rest and digest piece where, oh, okay, my heart rate's coming down, my food is digesting, the oxygen is not so present in my muscles because I don't have to run away from a bear. And when you're working with trauma and releasing trauma from the body, that piece is really, really key, right? Because, trauma happens when something happens, there's a stimulus or an event or whatever that kicks us into that tight fight or flight mode chronically. So even when the threat is not there, our body still responds and acts as if it is. So using the voice, humming, talking, yelling, singing, whatever, in an intentional way can help activate the vagus nerve and really do a lot of beautiful work to help facilitate trauma release from the body. It's really extraordinary. And I think as a voice teacher, have you ever had an experience where somebody comes into your studio and you go, sing this, and they sing it and then they're crying about an event that happened to them 10 years ago?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
sometimes I remember as a singer myself, I would be
Mm-hmm.
scared to sing a high note. I was
Mm-hmm.
terrifying with this for me because my body would feel like it's about to die. It was feel like choking.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really it took me a good 5 years to because all the help that I got was only like from vocal coaches or just coaches where would they tell me, okay, open up the back, do this, all these little tricks, but that was not the core of the problem. That was just like that helped me a little bit here and there, but the deep stuff was actually the trauma was trapped, and it was just
Mm-hmm.
kind of conveyed itself through my voice. And
Mm-hmm.
what I truly believe, what's interesting with, as we said, about healing trauma through our voice, is I do believe we can heal trauma with our voice because,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, trauma, it's an energy that is trapped in
Mm-hmm.
our body, in our nervous system. Even our nerve path are kind of like wired into that trauma. So we automatically kind of like the brain goes right into that. But when we're coming down the nervous system and then we start a new kind of new wiring in our brain towards something better and good and safe, this is a whole thing. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's a completely different thing. And I think that's why people love singing. It feels like meditation, right? If you
Yeah.
do it right. And it's also about the receiving. And I think the receiving and expressing is such a healing, powerful, and when you do it with multiple people, for those who ever
Woo.
experienced bath, oh my God, feels like that's why people love to go to, concerts,
Mm-hmm.
and that because it can sing together, and that togetherness, it's so, so powerful and healing. And
Yes.
I highly, highly recommend for those who never went to sun bath, definitely join to one of Stephanie's or anybody who's near you to really experience that feeling of being part of community where you can safely kind of express your voice and also receive sound, and it's just going to experience the magic. It's hard to explain until you actually experience it, right?
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I love this conversation because it's so true. And I mean, if you think about it, how much anybody who's listening, like now that you hear this, you're not going to be able to unhear it, right? So if you just spend a day paying attention, open up your awareness to how much you are using sound to express an emotion without even trying, it will change your world. I mean, if you think about it, all the big stuff, of course, like wails of grief, or if somebody surprises you and you yelp a little bit, and just those deep belly laughs when something really like
It's my
gets you
favorite.
going and it makes you feel all those incredible experiences of joy. We release sound to help facilitate that. It's so incredible. And when you can start to use it intentionally and make it a part of your daily practices, it's such a game changer.
And I have to tell you, for those who are CEOs, entrepreneurs, not singers per se, it's very interesting for those people. They understand how the power of the voice is so powerful because it's not what you say, it's the tone that a lot of people are
Mm-hmm.
drawn to. and
Yes.
and really the subtext of what you're saying and the energy behind what you're saying. And I highly recommend, if you're a leader or a coach or somebody who's considering himself a leader or a mentor, you need to really connect to your voice and clear that chakra. I can't even
Mm-hmm.
tell you how powerful everything will be, because your social media and how you present yourself and how you go about talking with clients and anything like that is just so, so important. And I know you do corporate events, right?
I
Can you talk a
do.
little bit more about that?
Yes, I love corporate events. They're so fun for me because it's a place where, people are there and there's like a certain protocol. I'm sorry, it's been a long time since I've had like a corporate job.
But yeah, we can definitely relate to that for sure.
Yes, yes. Like those corporate environments can sometimes feel a little bit overly professional or a little bit stiff, and people sometimes don't get an opportunity to just like come and just be and relax and just receive something that's going to help them manage the stressors that come with any kind of job. Like most jobs come with some kind of stress, right? And
Absolutely.
so it's so fun for me to be able to go into those spaces and talk about this, just talk about the power of sound. Here's how you can use it for your job. Here's how you can use that in your life. And now I'm going to give you some, and I'm going to give you a sound bath and just let you have that little delicious like break in your day. And what's so cool is once you are in that really relaxed state of experiencing a sound bath, then you can step into a place where you get to increase your capacity to be of service. And when your body is nice and relaxed and you're feeling focused and clear, it allows you to access flow state better.
Oh,
And when you're in flow state, it doesn't matter how difficult the thing is that you are getting done. Everything feels like it is effortless and easy and gets done faster. There's this incredible study that the McKinsey Institute did several years ago where they pulled two groups of employees and some executives. And the first group, they taught how to get into flow state, and then the other group, they didn't. And then they sent everybody back to work, right? And just sort of tracked the results. The people who were able to tap into flow state before they began their workday were 500% more productive than the other group.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
insane. That's
It-
that's huge number. Definitely. Wow.
staggering, right? It's like if you imagine going to work on a Monday and completing all of your tasks for the week on Monday, what would that do?
What are we doing here? Let's okay, we finish our day our week of work. I love
Yes.
this.
Yes. It just creates so much more expansive room
Hmm.
to create more, to play more, to live more, to enjoy more. I love it.
And this is what Effortlessly Abundant Life is all about. And I actually wanted
Mhm.
to ask you why you think you're here in Effortlessly Abundant Life. And it's exactly, you just answer it. I love how the universe always knows. But it's so amazing to me when people still hold on to their to-do list, hold on
Mhm.
to the expectation, hold on to that feeling and thinking that it's all on them,
Mm.
and they're not allowing something bigger than themselves that creates worlds, that makes mine and your heart beat, and that longs to fill with air without us doing it, right, consciously,
Mhm.
to move through us and give
Mhm.
us ideas we never thought about. And me, as a vice president of an electrical contracting company, a lot of times I find myself where I'm like, God, show me the way.
Yeah.
God, universe, show me where I need to, who I need to call, what I need to do. And a lot of times when I was the one who's pushing or coming from the place of I need to do this, or
Mhm.
I'm expected to do this, or just do it because I need to do it, it's just never worked.
Right.
But when I was in that place where after I meditated and did kind of like my morning routine and really connecting to my soul,
Mhm.
and kind of not just feeling that heavy responsibility, it's all on me, and allowing the universe to co-create with me and show itself for me, and show me what's the easiest path for me to get whatever I want. And I think what beautiful about sound, it just happens automatically because you don't need to do anything, you just need to receive it.
Mhm.
And but it does all the work for you, and that's why I love it so much. So for those of people who have a hard time meditate, I think sound bath are fantastic,
Yep.
fantastic start,
Mhm.
right?
Oh, absolutely, because it gives your brain something external to focus on, right? And you're
Hmm.
absolutely right. Meditation can feel really challenging if you're just starting or you're new or whatever. And also, if you're struggling, if you do have some trauma that makes it feel unsafe to meditate because that awareness sort of drops and you can't be in that place of hypervigilance. So if you are struggling a little bit to get in that place of quiet and solitude, having something to listen to can help you cultivate mindfulness in a way that feels a little bit safer for the body until you get there. So it's great for a million reasons.
And do you think for those people who don't have, let's say, hour or 2 hours to experience some meditation on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any kind of source or anything that can kind of you can direct them to be able to kind of experience that on a daily basis, or just to kind of like open themselves up for it for the first time?
Yes, I have something fun that I'm launching next month. Can I share?
Guys, you heard it first here. So, okay, so you have to let us know because oh my God, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, guys, so
Yes.
stay tuned. I love it. So, speaking of kind of like the future, what
Mhm.
kind of the things are you excited about? Some things are kind of happening. Maybe people can join other than what you're about to launch, but something else.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have so many fun things coming up. I have lots of live sound bath events that I'm going to be doing in various cities. I'm thinking about doing like a pop-up virtual sound bath, maybe if there's enough people that are like, oh my gosh, yes, let's do this. then I will absolutely put
Okay.
something together. Yep, because I
Okay.
have, when I work with private clients, they live all over the country. And so I have a beautiful setup to give sound baths virtually. So when you're listening through your headphones, the effects are just
Wow.
as good as
Oh,
when you're in the room with me.
it's amazing. It's amazing. Beautiful. So where people
Thanks.
can find you on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the above.
Yes. Yes. So I'll make sure you have all the links. Instagram is the best place. I am Steph A Ball on Instagram. That's where
Love
you
it.
get all the goodies and the behind the scenes and all the fun stuff. And my website is stephanieamball.com as well. You can find lots of goodies there. And this is important. So this goes back to your question that you asked for people who may not have a whole hour to sit down and listen to a full sound bath. I have a subscription service that I'm going to be launching next month,
Okay. Yes.
and it's going to become
I was
with
about to say to you, you have to, I didn't know if to say it now and after. I was like, you have to have a subscription so people can come back to it on a
yep.
monthly basis. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Perfect. I love it.
I yes, and I'm so excited because it's going to have a whole variety of stuff in there. So, sound bath videos and sound bath audios and guided meditations and also video teaching tools for the people who are ready like, "Oh my gosh, yes. How can I improve my productivity and my efficiency? Like, what are some of the other mindset tools that I can access once I get into this state?" And I'm going to have some longer things, sure. But for those people who just need that like 5 minute, 10-minute tune up, that's the place I'm going to put it. So you can come in and to be like, oh my gosh, I just need 5 minutes to sort of just receive something so I can hit that reset button in my day. I'm going to have that for you and it's going to be amazing.
Oh,
So if that
I'm
sounds
sure.
fun at all, if you're even a little bit curious, Instagram is the place to connect with me. Just follow me, send me a DM, and I will add you to the wait list for when that drops.
Oh, guys, you have to. I'm definitely going to
Yay!
join because
Yay!
I love this so much. And I think there's so many meditations out there, but I don't think there is something like that. And I think this is amazing. And in your sound meditations, sound baths, sorry, do you use your voice a lot or primarily kind of me using more instruments?
I do, yes. So
Oh,
I
I
work
love
with
it.
crystal singing bowls, and I sing. So most of the time, it's just vocal toning that just comes through, depending on what the energy of the room needs. Every
Wow.
now and then, I will do like an original melody. Sometimes I'll get like a specific song just sort of pops into
Mm.
my heart that I feel like I need to sing. I don't often use words just because it helps keep people into that like deep meditative state if there's no words to try and sort out. But yes, using my own voice is a big part of those sound baths.
And how do you feel, just to kind of like, because you spoke about something very interesting that I think not a lot of, especially classical singers, right?
Hmm.
It's improvisation,
Hmm.
but it's an intuitive, connected improvisation.
Right.
And I find that a lot of our kind of classically trained, very formal trained musicians having a hard time to connect to that.
Hmm.
Since we touched that, I feel like somebody needs to hear this. How do you feel we can connect to that intuitive kind of receiving, channeling mode?
Mm, that's such a beautiful question. I feel like if you get into a place where you treat it as play, that's when it will start to drop in. So a lot of that has to do with releasing the judgment around getting it right or making something good or making something that's perfect and releasing the attachment to your sound and how you sound. Because when I'm improvising and channeling, I'm not even thinking about, are these notes right? Is this in tune? Are they going to like this? It's nothing that doesn't even come into my awareness. It's just, I'm expressing what needs to be expressed emotionally, and my voice is just the vehicle that I'm using to do it. So if you want to try that, just play, just have fun, make a few sounds, see how it feels, change up your vowels, whatever. If you release all the attachment to it needing to be a certain way and just treat it like playtime, that will help you become more comfortable with it.
I think so too. And I think when you're closing your eyes, and this is where the
Hmm.
practical kind of the practice comes in, where you can actually tune, feel when it, how does it feel when you actually authentically connect?
Hmm.
And from that, it will come because
Yeah.
you will trust your voice more and more and more because it's about trusting. And when you're
Mm-hmm.
truly trusting your voice and your body to just be there and just kind of deliver whatever it needs to deliver, things will
Mm-hmm.
kind of happen. So that play and trust together, I think it's such a strong component to really be able to, because it's not about you, right?
Yeah.
It's about taking yourself out of the way and be a clean vessel of
Mm-hmm.
whatever needs to be channeled through you. And the more you can take yourself and your ego out of that,
Mm-hmm.
the better. And it's so delicious and it's so fun when you allow something like this to come through, especially if you're a singer, guys. One of the best tips I always give to my singers is, before you go on stage, is truly say a prayer to yourself and to God or whoever you believe in universe. Just kind of say, you know what, God, universe, source, just move through me, sing through me, whatever
Mm.
needs to be heard through me. I'm opening myself to it, and that's it. And almost like drop all the worries and all the expectations to God and let that him, her, she, it, they, whatever that is, to handle it for you. And
Yes.
it's just like that relief that you can
Mhm.
actually just be and create and do and have fun.
Yes. Yes. Ah, that's absolutely right. I love that.
Amazing. I think we can talk for hours,
I
which I
think so too.
love. So, guys, if you want part two, definitely let us know. If you have any additional questions, anything you guys want to, I'm curious to hear more about. But I thank you so much, my love, for being here, for sharing your heart, your truth, your experience, and this amazing tool that we all have in us, but we don't use enough. And I really, really hope you guys are inspired to go ahead and follow Stephanie and all her work, and hopefully join in one of her programs to really kind of connect to that superpower that we all have. And I want to thank you.
This was such a delight. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, my
What a
love.
fun conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, thank you guys for listening, and I will hear you and see you.